Standing together, why allies matter. The fight for justice needs everyone. It needs people from all walks of life. When we talk about fighting racism, we must remember the white allies who stood up. These people saw injustice and wanted a better world. They used their privilege to amplify the voices of the oppressed. Why is allyship important? Because it shows that the fight for equality is not just for the oppressed. It's a fight for the soul of humanity. When people from dominant groups challenge their own biases and speak out against injustice, it creates cracks in the walls of prejudice. Throughout history, there have been countless examples of white people who risked their lives and reputations to stand with the oppressed. They understood that silence is complicity, and they refused to be bystanders in the face of injustice. Their courage serves as a powerful reminder that change is possible when people come together. Faces of courage, white allies in history. One such example is William Lloyd Garrison. He was a white man from Massachusetts. In the 1830s, he started an abolitionist newspaper called The Liberator. Garrison spoke out against slavery. He called for immediate emancipation. He faced harsh criticism and even violence, but he never backed down. Another prominent ally was Anne Braden. She was a journalist in the American South during the Civil Rights Movement. She risked her life to support black activists. She wrote about racial inequality and helped organize protests. She faced arrest and threats, but her dedication never wavered. Then there's Viola Liuzzo. She was a housewife from Michigan. She was deeply moved by the struggle for civil rights. She traveled to Alabama in 1965 to participate in the Selma to Montgomery marches for voting rights. Tragically, she was murdered by the Ku Klux Klan, highlighting the very real dangers faced by allies. These brave individuals, and countless others like them, understood that the fight for racial justice was a fight for the soul of America. They used their voices, their platforms, and their bodies to challenge the status quo and demand equality for all. The price of justice, risks and challenges. Standing up against racism was never easy. White allies faced serious consequences. They were often ostracized by their own communities. Some lost their jobs, their homes, and even their families. They faced threats, violence, and imprisonment. Despite the risks, these allies showed incredible courage. They understood that the fight for justice was more important than their own comfort or safety. They were driven by a deep sense of empathy and a belief in the inherent dignity of all human beings. Their stories are a testament to the power of solidarity and the importance of standing up for what is right, even when it's difficult. They remind us that progress is never achieved without sacrifice, and that true allyship requires unwavering commitment and action. Continuing the fight, a legacy of allyship. The stories of these allies are still important today. They remind us that we all have a role to play in fighting racism. We must learn from the past and continue the work for a more just and equitable future. What can we learn from these brave individuals? How can we embody their spirit of allyship in our own lives? How can we use our privilege to amplify the voices of the marginalized and challenge systemic racism in all its forms? The fight for social justice is an ongoing process, and it requires constant vigilance and action. By remembering and honoring the legacy of white allies who came before us, we can draw inspiration and guidance as we continue to strive for a more just and equitable world for all.